That was also an interesting series. Now, granted, I'm recording this on the 17th, but at like midnight 34 of the 17th, so technically it's still the 16th. I'm still on pace for what I want to do. That being said, hi, this is Vision Denial, and I'm Sebastian. This is the Road to MSI, where I watch every 12 regions playoff series, including that one, before MSI happens. We have my Turkish is non-existent, so we have Galatasaray Espor versus Dark Pasage. This is a 3-0. Go for the good. There's some good stuff. Let's go for the bad first. Let's do the bad. There's less bad stuff and more good stuff, but like the bad stuff is fairly significant. We have a case of the repeated. What was it again? It was the Suning versus not LNG. Was it LNG? The most recent Suning versus World Elite, where the first two games are one team picking the exact same composition. The losing team does it twice. The difference here is that the winning team decided to just straight up pick a totally different composition and still win. And you know what? That's the kind of gumption I like to see. Dark Passage, what in the flying fuck is your pick and ban philosophy? Get a new strategic coach, like figure out what your analysts are doing, weed out the one that's giving you the stupid ideas. It's not it. That being said, most of everything these two teams do is pretty okay. The second thing that I have like an issue with these two teams is that they don't know how to balloon leads. And it's really weird considering everything else I'm going to mention about these two teams. Well, mostly about Galatasaray. Again, my Turkish is non-existent. Galatasaray's. I just have to. It's Galaxy Esports, but Galatasaray. There's a lot of cool stuff that they did. Honestly. The vision play, dynamic, pretty on point. I never felt at any point that like either team was lacking in vision. I think that Dark Passage could have benefited more from some vision denial for the compositions they were trying to execute, but otherwise it's pretty good. Galatasaray did a good job with their vision denial. Minion wave manipulation I could have more of, honestly. But given the situation and the way that the teams were playing out, they weren't very good at ballooning leads. So it doesn't surprise me that they need to improve on that. Fun things. I think the thing that is the coolest here, and what probably separates Turkey this year from the rest of them, is that the lack of Baron and timer dependence in this game is astronomical. They may not be ballooning leads very well, but at least they're never keeping the pace slow. At no point ever did I think that nothing was happening. And you know what? Good shit. More teams could sim to learn from that. In fact, even the Pacific was a tier 2 team. Falls under this category. Hell, even North America and Europe, a lot of regions fall under this issue. But like these Galatasarays literally would have only one Baron to finish the game, and if their Baron ran out, they usually figured out a way to finish out the game without the Baron, or having to wait a whole 2 minutes. If you have the ability to end the game, you end the game. Simple shit. They know the limits of their team fight ability. That's that's like a must-have, especially if you're going to be going up against the teams that China and Korea are sending. Again, at the time of when I'm recording this, I haven't watched it. Those teams, I believe, are going to be selected either tomorrow, and Korea's already had their finals. So, either whoever the team is, the fact that and this is still part of like the first round of their playoffs here in Turkey. They're for the order that I'm watching them in. This is their second playoff of 5 playoffs. They face off against, I think, either the first or second seed. And if this is how Galatasaray play against someone on the lower bracket of things, fuck, hell yeah. If they make it all the way to the finals, it would surprise me. But given that this is like still the lower seed, and it's hard to tell what's going on, and I haven't seen Dark Pasage play, this is good. It's much better than the other series from Turkey, the one with 1907 Fenerbahce. Granted, I don't think by like a whole margin more, but I was pleasantly surprised. Like, good shit, guys. Keep it up. Things I would like to see improved, however. There are times where players are making individual mistakes, but like that happening is one thing, but when it becomes so egregious that it literally halts tempo. Like, who's the player specifically? The player I wrote the most is Mojito tends to be the biggest mistake maker. That's really it. Shoutouts to Luana, who, despite playing a carry and always being on weak side, still manages to be relevant in all of the team fights. Sweet, sweet stuff. Next, I think their ability to like balloon leads needs to have a larger focus on not just keeping up tempo and not just making sure the lead doesn't like shrink or that you choke out things. Is that you need to figure out ways to straight up steal resources from the enemy team. And this is the thing I think that was missing when I was watching this, is that they would often find ways to balloon the leads, force them in. They would not clear out the enemy jungle. They would not do anything to stop the enemy jungler from being able to take anything. And if that's the case, that means the enemy laners, when they're behind and they need to like farm in a way that doesn't require them to get further out, they would just go through jungle camps. And the best way to usually do that is to find ways to avoid them from being able to access their camps, like either one quadrant or both of them. Food for thought, more than anything else. Otherwise, I think for the region, this was superb work. But if they're going to want to be able to succeed further in, they'll have to like be good at ballooning leads and better at choking leads out. One thing also about picking bands here, while I have them in front of me, because I go through my notes as I do this, the Galatasaray is to have a clear indication that they always want to have team fight options. And that's fine and dandy and good. I think, however, it could detract if your opponents figure out what you're trying to do. Like, you never pick the same kind of composition twice. Awesome. Love that. Bread and butter. And you never picked anything that was clearly, like, the wrong combination of champions. You're speaking my language. I do think, however, you're falling into the Australian trap, is what I'm going to call it, where you have a checklist of things that you think are necessary, and because of it, it makes it very obvious to see what you're going to pick next. Now, hopefully that isn't the case. Your next playoff series shows that this is just the way that you knew that Dark Passage would interact, and so you just went with this natural progression. But if it's not, and it is the case, then you're going to fall into a huge issue when it's easier to ban you out and not just use your regular bans. They'll always consistently make you play red side in a way that is just not feasible for you. Yeah. That was fun, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Next up, we're going back to Russia for Crow Crowd and One Breath Gaming. Simultaneously fairly cool, but also dorky as hell names. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one.